You know that sinking feeling when you realize you're not his first choice? When Sarah texted me last week at 2 a.m., crying because she found out the guy she'd been seeing for 3 months was still active on dating apps, I knew exactly what she was going through. Here's the thing. You're probably someone's option right now, and you don't even realize it. Let's be real here. Modern dating has turned into this twisted game where men keep multiple women spinning like plates, and honestly, most of us have no idea how to handle it. But here's what they do not want you to know. You have way more power in this situation than you think. I'm going to share 3 research-backed strategies that will either make him choose you as his priority or help you walk away with your dignity intact. And trust me, both outcomes are wins. First, let's talk about what's really happening in his mind when he keeps you as an option. Dr. Helen Fisher's research on attachment styles reveals something fascinating. When men engage in what psychologists call mate choice overload, they actually become paralyzed by too many options. It's like standing in the cereal aisle for 20 minutes because there are too many brands to choose from. But here's where it gets interesting. The same research shows that when faced with scarcity, when they think they might lose something, the brain's reward system goes into overdrive. It's called loss aversion, and it's hardwired into our psychology. Let me tell you about my friend Jessica. She was dating this guy Mark for 4 months, and every time she brought up exclusivity, he'd say something like, "I'm just not ready for labels." Classic option behavior, right? But then, Jessica did something brilliant. She stopped being available every time he called. She started saying no to his last-minute plans. She began living her life as if he wasn't in it. You wouldn't believe what happened next. Within 2 weeks, he was asking her to be his girlfriend. Why? Because scarcity triggered his loss aversion. Suddenly, she wasn't just another option on his shelf. She was the prize he was about to lose. The female power you didn't know you had. Here's what nobody talks about in relationship advice. Women have an incredible psychological advantage that most of us never use. It's called emotional regulation, and research from the University of Pennsylvania shows that women are naturally better at it than men. When you're dealing with someone who's treating you like an option, your instinct is probably to fight for their attention, right? To prove your worth, to be more available, to show them how amazing you are. But that's exactly what keeps you in option territory. The power move? Emotional detachment combined with strategic scarcity. I'm not talking about playing games. I'm talking about genuinely investing in yourself and your own life to the point where his attention becomes a nice to have, not a need to have. Think about it this way. When you're desperate for something, you'll accept crumbs. But when you're genuinely fulfilled and happy, you only accept what actually adds value to your life. Men can sense this energy from a mile away, and it triggers something psychologists call social proof anxiety. Suddenly, they start wondering what they're missing out on. I remember talking to my cousin Lisa about this exact situation. She was stuck in a situationship with a guy who would text her every few days but never make concrete plans. She felt like she was going crazy, analyzing every message, waiting by her phone. Sound familiar? So I asked her a simple question. If your best friend was in this exact situation, what would you tell her to do? Without hesitation, she said, "I'd tell her to run." That's the power of perspective. When you step outside your own emotions and look at the situation objectively, the answer becomes crystal clear. The 3-step strategy. That changes everything now. Let me break down the exact 3-step process that will either elevate you to priority status or help you dodge a bullet. Step 1. The scarcity reset. Stop being available whenever he wants you. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about genuinely having a life that's so fulfilling that his presence is optional, not essential. Start saying no to last-minute plans. If he texts you at 10 p.m. asking to hang out, tell him you already have plans. Even if those plans are watching Netflix with your cat. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that people value things more when they have to work for them. It's called the effort justification paradigm. When someone invests effort into something, they automatically assign it more value. Step 2. The communication boundary. Here's where most women mess up. They either go completely silent, which reads as playing games, or they have the talk too early, which triggers his flight response. Instead, You need to communicate your standards without making it about him. For example, instead of saying, "Where is this relationship going?" try, "I'm looking for something serious and committed." If that's not what you want, that's totally fine, but we might not be compatible. This approach does two things. It removes the pressure from him while clearly stating your boundaries. It also triggers what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. He has to decide whether he wants to lose you or step up to meet your standards. Step 3. The strategic withdrawal. This is the most important step and honestly the hardest one. You need to start emotionally withdrawing your investment in the outcome. I know that sounds scary, but here's the thing. When you're genuinely prepared to walk away, you operate from a position of power. Start dating other people. Not to make him jealous, but to remind yourself that you have options too. Focus on your career, your friendships, your hobbies. Become so genuinely busy with your own amazing life that his wishy-washy behavior becomes more of an annoyance than a heartbreak. Let me tell you about Rachel. She was in this exact situation with a guy who kept saying he wasn't ready for anything serious, but acted like her boyfriend when it was convenient. She implemented all 3 steps I just mentioned. Within a month, he noticed the change. He started reaching out more, making actual plans instead of just texting. But here's the beautiful part. By then, Rachel had gained so much clarity about what she actually wanted that she realized he wasn't it. She ended things on her terms. There's something else at play here that most relationship advice completely ignores. Dr. John Gottman's research on relationship dynamics shows that the person who needs the relationship least has the most power. It's not fair, but it's psychology. When you're operating from a place of neediness or fear of loss, you give away all your power. But when you're genuinely happy and fulfilled on your own, you become magnetic. It's called secure attachment energy, and it's incredibly attractive. Think about the women you know who never seem to have relationship problems. They're not necessarily more beautiful or more successful, they just do not need validation from men to feel complete. That energy is intoxicating because it's so rare in today's dating landscape. I'll be honest with you. Learning to operate from this place isn't easy. We're conditioned to believe that caring less makes us cold or mean. But there's a huge difference between being cruel and being selective. You can be kind, loving, and warm while still maintaining your standards and boundaries. When to walk away versus when to stay. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear. Sometimes you being an option has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with his emotional unavailability or inability to commit. And you can't fix that. If you've implemented these strategies for a reasonable amount of time, I'd say at least a month, and he's still giving you breadcrumbs, it's time to accept that he's showing you who he is. Believe him. But if he starts stepping up, making concrete plans, introducing you to his friends and family, and having actual conversations about the future, then you know the strategies worked. Not because you manipulated him, but because you raised the bar and he chose to meet it. The key is being genuinely prepared for either outcome. When you're truly indifferent to whether someone chooses you or not, you make decisions from a place of strength rather than fear. Your power is in your choice. At the end of the day, the question isn't really, how do I make him choose me? It's, do I choose someone who sees my value, or do I keep accepting less than I deserve? You have more control in this situation than you realize. You can't control his actions, but you can control your responses. You can't make him prioritize you, but you can prioritize yourself. And when you do that consistently, you'll either inspire him to step up or give yourself permission to find someone who will. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. If you accept being someone's option, you're essentially giving them permission to keep treating you that way. But the moment you start acting like the prize you are, everything changes. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, treat yourself like the priority you want to become. Watch how differently people respond to you when you're genuinely living your life from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. If this resonated with you, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment below and tell me about a time when you shifted from option to priority, or share what you're going to do differently starting today. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about modern dating and relationships. Trust me, We're just getting started with these conversations. Your worth isn't up for negotiation. Don't let anyone treat it like it is.